Are you looking for the best ASUS laptops? In this video we will look at some of the best ASUS laptops. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 5. ASUS TUF Gaming S16 Advantage Edition. The ASUS TUF Gaming S16 Advantage Edition, 2023, is a solid budget option if you're looking for a gaming laptop. This all-AMD model delivers a smooth gaming experience at 1080p or 1440p in demanding AAA titles. For less than $1,000, you can get a Ryzen 7 7735HS configuration with an AMD Radeon RX 7700S GPU, a 165Hz FHD Plus display, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB of storage. The IPS panel has a fast response time, resulting in a clear image with minimal ghosting in fast-moving scenes, and it supports variable refresh rate to reduce screen tearing. It doesn't get very bright, though. It's best suited for dark to moderately lit rooms. This laptop feels very sturdy build-wise. It has a spacious albeit slightly mushy keyboard, Wi-Fi 6 connectivity, and a wide port selection, including a true HDMI 2.1 and an Ethernet port. The SSD is fast, but you might want to replace it with a higher capacity drive or add a second one. Yes, there's a second slot, as 512GB fills up pretty quickly. The memory is also upgradable. The battery lasts a little over an hour when gaming, which is pretty typical. What's unusual is that it lasts nearly 13 hours for light use, making this laptop great for general productivity tasks. Of course, that's as long as you don't mind lugging around a bulky and heavy 16-inch model. Number 4. ASUS ROG Strix G16. The best ASUS gaming laptop we've tested is the ASUS ROG Strix G16, 2024. This well-built 16-inch model delivers an amazingly smooth gaming experience in the most demanding AAA titles. It sports the top-end Intel Core i9-14900HX CPU, and you can choose between an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060, RTX 4070, or RTX 4080 laptop GPU. RAM and storage max out at 32GB and 2TB, respectively, both are user upgradable. There are two display options, a 165Hz FHD Plus and a 240Hz QHD Plus panel. Both have a fast response time and GSINC support, resulting in a clear image in fast-moving scenes with minimal ghosting and tearing. The keyboard feels spacious and tactile, and as expected, there's RGB backlighting. Connectivity is robust. You get two USB-A ports, two USB-C ports, one with Thunderbolt 4 support, an HDMI 2.1, an Ethernet, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. If you game online but aren't close enough to your router for a wired LAN connection, don't worry, there's Wi-Fi 6E on board. While the ROG Strix G16 excels in gaming performance, it does have a few drawbacks. It's a fairly bulky laptop, so it isn't well suited for on-the-go use, and the battery life is short, lasting only 6 hours in light uses or an hour when gaming. Also, the laptop can get quite hot under load. Number 3. ASUS Vivobook 16M1605. If you want to save money, consider the ASUS Vivobook 16M1605, 2023, our best budget ASUS laptop pick. The 16-inch ultra-portable feels well built for the price, and it isn't overly bulky, making it easy to carry around. You can configure it with an AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU, both of which are more than adequate for handling productivity tasks like text processing, web browsing, spreadsheets, and video playback. It has 8GB of RAM soldered onto the motherboard and an open SODIMM slot, so if you can't find a model with 16GB, you can always upgrade it yourself. Its battery life is decent at around 8 hours of light use, but depending on your workload, you may need to plug it in for a quick charge. This model delivers a pretty good user experience. It has a spacious full-size keyboard with a numpad, which is handy for those working with lots of numbers, as well as a large and responsive touchpad. You get Wi-Fi 6E wireless connectivity, a fingerprint sensor for quick logins, and a decent port selection with 3 USB-As, a USB-C, and an HDMI. Unfortunately, the USB-C doesn't support video output, so you'll have to rely on the HDMI to connect an external display. Our main gripe with this laptop is that the display is quite dim, so visibility may be an issue in well-lit rooms. It also looks a bit washed out due to its narrow color gamut. Number 2. ASUS Zenbook 14 OLED. Core best mid-range pick is the ASUS Zenbook 14 OLED 2024. This is also a 14-inch model, but it's very much an ultra-portable, meaning it's primarily designed for general productivity and media consumption. It has more than enough horsepower under the hood to handle tasks like web browsing, text processing, and spreadsheets. However, it isn't anywhere as powerful as our top pick, so don't expect to perform anything intensive, like gaming or 3D graphics. The battery lasts around 8 hours of light use, so you may need to plug it in to get through a typical workday. Multiple OLED display options are available, including two 120Hz panels, with or without touch input, to provide better input responsiveness and smoother motion when navigating the desktop. One thing to know is that these OLED panels' 480Hz flicker may bother some people, causing eye strain. They're also susceptible to permanent burn-in, which is a concern on productivity laptops because the content is more likely to be static than when gaming. A nifty feature seen on many ASUS laptops is the ability to use the touchpad as a numpad, which is handy for those working with lots of numbers. Number 1. ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. The ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14 2024 is the best ASUS laptop we've tested. Though primarily a gaming laptop, this 14-inch model is a jack-of-all-trades that's well-suited for content creation and everyday general productivity. Unlike most gaming laptops on the market, it has a sleek and understated design that won't look out of place at work. Its full aluminum chassis feels super sturdy, and it's small enough to carry around easily. The user experience is amazing. You get a gorgeous 2.8K 120Hz OLED display, a tactile keyboard, a big touchpad, and a great 1080p webcam. There's Wi-Fi 6E onboard for fast and reliable internet when gaming online. You can choose between a Ryzen 7 or 9 CPU from AMD's 8040 series paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4050, 4060, or 4070 discrete GPU. Every configuration can handle 1080p gaming, but if you want to play everything at 1440p, or at the display's native 2.8K resolution, we recommend upgrading to the RTX 4070. The same goes if you plan to use it for content creation and want to make sure it can handle high-resolution material. Storage maxes out at 1TB, which isn't a lot considering the size of modern games, but thankfully, the SSD is user-replaceable. We can't say the same about the RAM, though, so make sure you get enough for your needs up front.